body that got like 3 times all the way. Shit.
Hey guys, Moopsy here. Today I wanted to make an H1Z1 tutorial for those of you that, have gone back into the game, right? Because of the fact that the game is popping right now. I think it got like 7K players yesterday, and I saw like a few streamers like Eric, Triceps, and I hope a few more are gonna come, right? So we're getting like 150 player lobbies now. It's fucking popping, bro. But like, if you've been having like a lot of like trouble trying to play against a lot of like royalty players and they're just destroying you in fights, right? This video is gonna be directed towards you. This video is gonna be about how to get better at H1 fights. So this shit is not just like 2-tap only stuff that you can already learn in combat training by playing for like 20 hours. But this is shit that you can practice a lot like in games, like solos. So this is gonna be like car fighting, how to spray cars, how to consistently 2-tap people like very long ranges, more than they usually do in combat training, how to like focus on like what you should keep always in inventory, like, and movement tricks like binoc sliding, grenade moonwalking, fast drop shot, and snaking that you'll be able to use in game. And if you really want to follow this tutorial very closely, I play with very old settings that I used to keep on using, so 1440 by 1080 and 65, because I seen a lot of players like Lucas FPS always use this like 4 years ago, so I use it as well. And I also use the third dot, because on my screen it's big enough so that way it helps me quickly 2-tap, like get the, okay, I put the crosshair on the head quickly, let's shoot, and that it's just like, better. And if you want to get good at these types of clips here that I'll be showing in a little bit, this will let you get better at the game. And of course, if you want to follow on, let's first start off with 2-tapping. Yeah, let's get into it. So of course in H1, right, when you're going to be getting into a lot of fights, you're going to be getting into a lot of AR fights, right? You're going to get into a lot of fights where you're going to have to use like your AR-15 and you're going to be like shooting people, right? That's like a 2-tap, right? But a lot of the problems with why you're having a tough time aiming is because you're forgetting how the bullets even work, right? You're forgetting how the bullet speed is and like how the bullet drop is, right? And before you learn the bullet drop, the best thing to learn is the bullet speed, because it'll be applied to a lot of things in the later portions of the tutorial, like practicing when cars move, right? And they keep on like that, and you have to practice tracking them, right? Shit like that. So the best way to learn it quicker is to just learn how to walking 2-tap, right? So it'll be shit like this, right? Just learn to walk and 2-tap at the same time. The reason why you'll be practicing this a lot more, hold on, let's see if this card does something. Oh, the guy's gonna jump out. So yeah, you're gonna be practicing this shit a lot more like this, because, well, because you're getting used to how the bullets are like moving in relative space to the actual person, right? So you're gonna remember to like, oh, I gotta reposition like my crosshair if I'm close range, right? I gotta reposition it closer to the guy's head instead of like longer range, you know what I mean? So yeah, this might tie also a little bit into how to practice your bullet speed a little bit better, but this is mostly for how to practice your long range fucking shooting, right? So this is to practice the bullet drop, right? And in this game, bullet drop is one of those things that is very hard to learn, because unlike like other games, right, where you shoot it, right, and it just like goes down, right, it's in a very weird arc where for like the first 100, like I think the first 100 meters, it's mostly just like a straightish line, and then when it goes farther and farther down, it goes into like a very huge arc. And I don't know how I'm going to explain this, but for bullet drop, most of this is going to be based off of like, you might have the mechanics already, but what I recommend, right, is I want to like drive a car, right? So like this range, right? And if you're in combat training, best thing you can probably do, right, is to practice just like if you can go farther away, right? Hold on. It's like this, right? You got to practice just shooting like slightly above their head, right? You got to keep on going up and up. Alright, I wanted to do something with the cars, right? But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. But so essentially, let's see if I can do it right here. So the best example I can probably show is that if you're really far away, just practice shooting at like a car, right? And seeing how far down the bullet is gonna go. Like you can already see that, like, oh, if I shoot here, right, it's gonna make this weird like gray thing. Or if I shoot at the car, right, it's gonna like show me a hit marker, right? And if you're just like farther away, you just have to aim just slightly higher in order to get good at the bullet drop. I know that was very hard to explain, but essentially the idea is that if you're very long ranges, right, I'm probably gonna show a few clips here, but if you're like very long range, just aim 2 dots above the head. So like if you have the same settings that I do, or like if you're very close range, just aim straight at the head. It's like, that's the best way I can explain it to you. This is the type of thing that requires like a lot of muscle memory to learn, and yeah, that's really it. So yeah, before I go on to like how to get good at car fights themselves, like how to fight people if you have a car and they have a car, how to like reposition and stuff, before I get to that, I want to explain how to get good at tracking vehicles long range, right? Because this is something that you don't usually see a lot. Hold on, I'm trying to see if this works. I don't think it does, but basically, right, I'll be showing like a clip, right, of somebody two-tapping here. So hold on, that'll be a second. This is from my friend AudioCK, and the other one will be from me. That one will probably play as well. And essentially, the way that this works, right, is kind of a little bit connected to how the bullet speed is, right? So like I said, the way that you two-tap somebody in a car is you have to shoot them relatively based on like the way that they're directed, like where you should move it, right? So if they're on their like gas, right, and they just keep on moving forward, you know what I mean? They're just no stop, right? The best thing that you can do is, instead of just aiming straight at the guy's head, right, you should aim a little bit away from it, right? Or like based on how far away they are. If it's a little bit farther away, you gotta aim it a little bit harder, but like overall, like harder to the left or to the right. But overall, you gotta keep on moving it like slightly more and more, so that way you stop having like those car hit markers. Or if you didn't hit anything, you get the car hit markers, then you get like the body shot or like the headshot hit markers. So that's kind of the trick that you want to do with car tracking. And of course, if somebody is going in front of you or like they're behind you, the best thing is to compensate instead for like the vertical bullet drop instead. That's really all that you can do. But if you learn this, you'll be able to get into like, say a good example would be, right, say that like there's a car that goes in front of you, right? If you guys, if you don't like collide with him, right, but if you reach a point where you both are like about to intersect, you get out of the car. If you're close enough, you can spray that guy close range to when he's pulling out, which would be the best situation, and you can two-tap him while he's still in the car. This is a lot of ways that like royalties will try and kill you with, and I think this is a good idea to like implement that into your own game if you want to get some kills. And overall, that is what I can show with two-tapping in cars. In H1Z1, right, cars are going to be the way you're going to be fighting a lot of the time, and they will be used as like movable cover, kind of like on Fortnite you have building, right? And there's a lot of tricks that you can use in order to save your life, just in case if somebody is willing to shoot at you and either will almost kill you, or you're not using the cover right and you're gonna die, right? So I'm gonna try and condense this down into like a few things, because there's still a lot of tricks that like can help you win with cars, but here are the few that I think will help you a lot, right? So let's first start off with drifting, because this will connect to two things. So in order to drift, right, if you want to just drift a corner instead of having to press WA or WD like that, you hold the nitro, shift, and brake at the same time. So shift space, and of course I'm not doing this on grass, so it's not gonna help, or if I do that, it works, you know. and that can help you propel you sometimes if you can do it consistently enough into people for shotgun fights. You know, it's pretty cool. And the other thing, which I wanted to connect to car tracking, like when you try and two-tap somebody in a car, is that you can also use it if you drift left and right. So like WD, WA, WD, WA, WD, WA, right? It's a lot harder to hit, right? And it's gonna make you not as easy to hit, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I have like a thing right here that shows it, but WD, WA, and yeah, so stuff like that. Alright. Another thing that's pretty cool to learn, I won't do this on anybody right here in the tutorial, but essentially you can do something called car swapping. I only suggest you to do this with the Jeep and the police car because, well, in the Lambo you can't hit somebody in the back of it, so it's kind of like a scummy move because you're basically unkillable with that. And with the with the truck, you kind of can't do that, and it's probably gonna get you killed because you basically have no cover like an ATV. So an example of this, right? So you do this by just pressing Control, like 2, 3, 4, 5, of course 1 as well to get back in the driver's seat. But essentially you have to just keep on moving, stop at a pace, and then switch seats by pressing Control, and then you're able to shoot. And the reason why you should use this is that if you do get into a fight, right, it's very easy to just do this, and your enemy, unless they already know about this trick, they're gonna get like confused as to where you are, and when you do shoot them, it's gonna like destroy them very easily, and you know, you're gonna get the upper hand in most fights. A lot of royalties do this, and it's gonna hurt you in the end if you don't know how to do this. And the final thing, which I think will be just like a rule, just like a simple rule, right? If you're gonna be like car fighting, right, always focus on repositioning. Even like some of the pros, like Flamehopper, used to do this. Essentially, when you get into a fight, right, and you're like not too long, right, if you understand how to like two-tap very well, just if you can't hit the two-tap instantly, get back into the car, move either closer or far away from them. Just keep on doing this. It'll help you out in the end, and it'll like save you a lot. And I think the final trick that I will quickly put in as well, if you want to improve your car play, is that never stand in the middle right here. And the reason why is because, as you can see, there's a space that people can shoot you from. Sorry, that was just the old model glitch. Yeah, basically, people can shoot your feet like this, so always stay behind the tires. So like a little trick is just when you're in combat zone, right, you just practice the two-tap. If you can't hit them, bad luck. Reposition, get back into the car, do that. And of course, when you are getting shot by people and you just don't want to get hit in the face, always just car drift. I don't know if there's a name for it. I'm just going to call it car drift, like Driftalino, car drift or something like that. And yeah, that is how you improve at, you know, your survivability with cars in this game. Of course, I'm back in this area to also give you an extra insight. This is going to be like a little thing in order to improve your like inventory management, right? So I recommend, if you want to get this, like get the centered inventory, right? Because you'll be able to just drag back on, or, you know, just click the helmet, you know, when you do get tapped, right? So it's like you're shooting, right? And then, oh, it's broken, right? You just quickly press tab, click on the helmet when you're moving, boom, you're already set. Just like how in Apex you can like armor swap, in this game it's a lot easier over time. They fix the how the inventory works, and the easiest way to just set that up, you know, you just go into gameplay, you want to scroll down, right? And then when it's for inventory, just click center inventory. You can also have scale inventory. I don't like this feature. I'm very used to the old no scale. Oh, I can't even turn it off. Hold on. But yeah, the last things I'll show will be like in lobby tricks on how to just, you know, on how to improve your movement. You know, do stuff like binoc slides and some other cool things. You know. Of course, the last place that I want to, you know, practice my movement on was on NA5s, right? So I'm going to teach you a little bit of some movement tricks as fast as I can before the waiting for players ticks down. So the easiest way you can practice this, alright? So if you want to learn how to binoc slide, this is very important, right? In order to binoc slide, what you do, right, is you do the weight jump, right, where you don't press anything. You press the opposite, so like you hold binoculars, right, and then you want to press space 6, right, at the time, right, just to do that, you know what I mean? And it does this weird little trick, and I'll explain to you later on how it'll improve you. So the next thing that it helps let you do is something called the snake jump. And the way that the snake jump works is that essentially you press the key, right? But I have like a little bind in order to make this work, where I have my scroll wheel to prone. So I would press 6, scroll until the end of the animation. This is very hard to do and it's not very consistent, so please take what you can. So I scroll until the end of the animation, I jump, and it makes me do that. This is very hard to do, and as you can see, there are like a few duds, but when you do it right, it will like help you out in terms of gameplay. Very okay. So there's like a few other movement tricks I'll show, and I'll be done with the video, you know. Alright, so the few last tricks I wanted to teach before I end this video are still movement ones, and they are grenade moonwalking and fast drop shotting. So drop shotting in this game is very interesting in that you can do a quick one like this where you still have the same movement as you would running speed while you're still holding shift, right? You press your prone button, then C. You don't have much movement, but essentially you're able to just shotgun someone as quick like this, you know what I mean? And it's very cool, very fun, right? And the last trick I wanted to show with movement that can always help you out in any situation very quickly is grenade moonwalking. And grenade moonwalking is actually a bug that was supposed to be patched, but since the previous developers, you know, left, they couldn't do anything about it. So the way it works is you get like you right click and prime the grenade, right? But you have to press escape and then press escape again. And I'm guessing the devs forgot to do something where you're actually able to go back to regular speed. Not regular speed, but you go back to the older speed, so it just defaults you to, I guess, walking speed. And this also breaks the restrictions on like going fat, like on the speed when tilting. So like this when enacting. So you can just do this, and it can be used kind of like a form of like transportation. If you do not have a car, you're not going to be hurt as easily, and it's very safe if you do this. So just saying, like, I recommend you try this out if you really want to. And those are the only tricks I have for the game, and that's really it. Of course, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, as I hope this has helped you somewhat with anything. If you're reading this, I most likely have already made a Steam guide in order to improve some of these things. I hope the pacing for this video wasn't that bad. As always, make sure to like and subscribe if you want more content like this. And as always, you know, thanks for watching. And I hope you guys have a good day. And peace.